The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
What
show are we on?
What's good, everyone? Happy Monday. It's Monday, April 9th, 2018. It's your boy Kevin Thornton. You have tuned into the Wellness Architect Show.
Yeah.
It's going to be very good. You know, we got amazing feedback last week about relationships, and so we're going to do a part two. You know, everything, happens for a reason or purpose, and it's worked out in divine order. I had Mr. Corey Taylor supposed to be coming in today and talk about fitness, but he had to reschedule, and good people came and helped me out at the last minute. So my boy, Larry Hodges and Squills, they came in, and then we got the Queen. The Queen, she's going to be here. And luckily enough, it worked out perfectly because she called in last week and talked about the show. So we said we're going to do part two of the relationship conversation. When she walked in, I said this would be a perfect way to have do the show. So, Miss Wanda, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and how can they find you.
Okay, well, that's simple enough. I am Wanda D, the Motivational Queen, and I am part of the Instinct Radio family. Yes, I have a talk show here every first and third Sunday, excuse me, from 7 to 9. What I do is I am a motivational speaker, and I am a writer, a spoken word artist, recorded. I like to say recorded. And just I basically just like to help people, like help us get better.
Exactly.
In all areas.
Exactly. Squills, and let everybody know who you are, sir.
I'm Squills, a regular on the Beer and the Conversation, a future award winning another Instinct Radio show with my brother Bees. I consider myself a bit of a thinker, and that's it.
All right. Last but definitely not least.
I am Laris Hodges on Facebook. Laris Hodges, Laris Hodges, host of Beer and the Conversation show, Instinct Radio. Just Renaissance man. Wherever the hell you need me to do, Kevin, man. You know what I mean?
So appreciate let's go. So last week we had a conversation start off with is chivalry dead, or is it no longer a requirement? So I want Squills to answer, then I want Wanda to answer. We already had his response, so I want to hear the two.
I had a good week. It could have changed, but no.
Did it change?
Okay, so my response will be twofold. So number one, you get what you give, and that level of respect. And number two, you get what you deserve. So, and I'm not somebody saying this from an aspect where I don't use chivalry. So, like, one of the things I dealt with women before, and I had to check them, like, listen, don't touch no doors when you with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got all the doors. Don't touch no. If you get to a door before I do, you wait. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm coming to open it. But that's not something I employ all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hold on, why?
Huh?
Yeah.
Why?
Because, number one, I don't receive. It's rare that you receive that kind of respect from a woman where you be like, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be a great talk.
And then number two, because I know what you're alluding to, right? So like maybe like a default setting, you know what I'm saying, versus somebody earning it. But I think sometimes it's best to lead, and sometimes you have a default setting. Sometimes you reciprocate, right? So I need to know that, and I think it all depends on what perspective I see you as, right? Because sometimes you have to hold back, and like you have to say something for like somebody who's special to you, right? So she can't be, you know what I'm saying? Like if I was opening your doors, young thotty that I might have slipped up and hit a couple years ago, she can't be able to say the same thing you saying.
Wow.
Right.
That's pretty deep.
Wow. What's your thoughts?
On
Well, first, what's your thoughts on? Okay, first of all, what's your thoughts on is chivalry dead or is it no longer required? And then I want your response to what he just said.
Well, my thoughts on chivalry, I think it's not dead. It is a matter of the individual. But as a woman, you do have to demand certain things. And I don't mean it in a forceful way, but you just have to have expectations. Okay. So like with me, I don't open any doors if I'm with anybody. I don't care.
That's a problem.
That's not what I do. I don't open doors. And to me, it's because, you know, I like to let men lead. So most men will lead if you allow them to lead. The problem has gotten to where women are just so aggressive. You know, it doesn't mean that you're not independent. It doesn't have anything to do with your status, but just letting everybody kind of like go through their roles. And I think most men like to be the leader. They like to, you know, be the aggressor. So I don't have a problem with just stepping back. If I'm walking, and if there's a man around me, I'll step back, and he'll open the door, and I'll walk in and I'll say thank you. And even when I'm coming, if they see me coming, I guess it's just because of the way I'm walking that they'll hold the door open. They don't have to be my man.
Right.
You know, it's just like that's just the way I roll. Okay. So I'm allowing men to use their chivalry.
Okay.
And I think that for the most part, they want to. But like he said, and my son says the same thing that you say, Ma, she don't want me to do nothing. So then he just, you know, backs up. But when he's with me, he know that ain't going down.
Right. Because
I'm going to come in. For instance, if we go to the grocery store, I'm getting out the car and I'm coming in the house. That's it. I'm not touching no bags.
Right.
I'm just not doing it. But I'm going to put the groceries up, and I'm going to cook the food. So that's what I do.
All right. I know you waiting, so let's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm not waiting on
set the powder keg
anything.
Come
Don't
on.
set the powder keg
What you gotta say? What's your thoughts?
He didn't agree with me.
I didn't say that. There was something you said that I disagree with. There was something he said I disagree with.
I'm gonna hear both.
Okay.
Bring it.
All right. I'm trying to look at whose retribution I don't want to deal with.
I'll take mine first.
All right. I just talked to my homie, my partner, earlier, and I went out with a girl after I got off work the other night. It was late at night, and I bought her a flower. One of the guys walking around in the little club with the roses, and I didn't have to pay for anything else. And she was very accommodating. So he said, 1 rose for $6, 2 for $10, and I was like, I don't need but one, but I gave him 8. You know what I'm saying? I gave him 6 plus $2. He said, you know what? He's like, bro, he's like, you got some class about you. He's like, because the other guys come in here, I walk around to them talking about roses, and, you know, they're just dismissive. And when I confided this in my other partner, he's like, you know, that's a problem, man. We giving stuff to women, and we don't know whether they deserve it or not. Well, you know, a brand is a brand. So, you know, when I do what I do, I kind of represent a brand.
Exactly.
And it's not an issue per se of, okay, let's look at it this way. Spiritually, there's nobody in this world that can say that everything they got, they earned. And I mean, and maybe they are. There is there's a pay it forward system. There's a grace system. There's a lot of systems that exist within this earth that we live in. And for me, I'll always be remembered by what I do. Now let me just
nigga bought 1 rose.
Oh wow! Wait, let me just say this. Now, now I won't say. I'll be fair and say that are they right? Does every woman per se deserve the level of chivalry that's given to her? No, but I was taught a long time ago. And let me tell you something. This is coming from a man who has been very disrespectful to women. That you give respect to women even when they don't deserve it.
But okay, so I understand that. So I want to respond. So
sure, absolutely.
What that does is that put people who have money on a because you'd be surprised how much people go out and like they barely got enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would barely have enough sometimes to treat her and take her out. You know what I'm saying? That $10 is another Long Island.
But I paid for nothing. In this instance, she actually covered my stuff. And so maybe I should reveal all of that.
Of course you pay. Listen,
Okay, but
you want 3
but-
roses?
Okay, let me say this to Squeals. A couple of the comments that was posted last week when we had in our discussion said, kind of cater to what you just said. You know, a lot of women don't really say they really don't need the man to spend a lot of money on them. All they want you to do is be creative enough to make it something where they are.
Oh, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Well, in all fairness, to clarify it, I have been in many situations where I've shown up places where women have invited me, and there was this automatic energy or spiritual assumption, hey, he's coming here. I'm inviting him here to cover things. I live in Atlanta. Now, in this particular instance, it wasn't that. It was come.
But you know what that is, really? You're really making my point. Because the fact that she was even willing to step up and put something down showed that she deserved that chivalry. Like, she deserved the best of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's easy.
Yeah, you're right. So, because had she been demanding, would I have given the flower? No. Now,
had you walked in there and she had a $50 tab already.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I
would have
no flowers,
did an
motherfucker.
Iverson crossover toward the door.
Right.
Now the point is that there is a twofold issue here with regard to that. A, yes, if there is some sort of a quasi meritocracy, she passed off the rip. Now, when the guy came to me, the father said, "Oh, well, nobody even does this stuff anymore." You know what I'm saying? Like, you got some class. And I to defend every other man in there, I said, well, and to your point, I said, maybe they haven't met any woman that's inspired them to do that yet. Of course, I said this right in front of her.
Right.
Right? You know what I mean?
You was trying to get your
Give me
point.
my points.
Well, I mean, and so I said, I mean, you can't blame these guys. I mean, you got to see something that inspires you.
Yeah, that's what we call game shooting.
Yeah. Now,
Game
but
shoot.
I've opened doors for women, and I've had people say they didn't deserve that.
But
You know
what
I mean?
makes somebody not deserve to
I'm
get
gonna
treated
to
the
you,
best?
'cause you said something that I had to do.
You're
You're not.
Come on now.
That has to Wanda. That has to work unilaterally.
Of
So-
course, but I never said that.
Oh, what you said is that
What did I
you don't
say?
open no door. I mean, so damn, if you're getting through the door, excuse me, darn. I know this is Motivation Monday.
Oh,
You get through the door
it's too late for
and
me.
whatever, and I didn't make it in time. See, I hold the door for anybody, any human being.
But listen, here's the real thing.
But
So
he
even
didn't
if it
act, that
is,
wasn't the question.
even if it is a meritocracy, you fit because at least you said thank you. You know how many
Yes.
women I've held the door open for that I do not know that
And they don't
walk
say
in
anything.
like
Don't say nothing.
no walk
Right.
in and put they mug on like, boy, don't try to holler at me. I got a boyfriend. I got this. Like,
Right.
sweetheart, it's great you have that confidence, but I'm not trying to holler at you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
so
I'm just being a gentleman.
Right,
And
that's
this
it.
is what I'm saying is you can't, like you said, you had a brand. And your brand represents you just like my brand represents me. So it's everything that you do is going to speak towards who you are. So it doesn't matter if you know you can't. I mean,
we don't deserve God's love, but we got
let's
it.
keep it real. I mean, you deserve what you put in. Period.
I don't know.
Even if you paying past karma debt, you still deserve it.
But let me tell you something too. Like, so when you talk about a brand, like I know my brand, but I also know this, right? So if my brand sell apparel, I'm not about to show up in the hood selling $2,000 leather jackets.
That
You know
might
what
be
I'm
the
saying?
only place you could sell it, though, these
So,
days.
well, now
Well, that's an
now
inverse
now
thinking
you
model.
changing.
No,
now
okay,
you,
I'll
now
stay on
changing
track.
it to
I'll
black
stay on track.
consumerism.
I'll stay on track. I'm
It
sorry.
sound good, but now you're changing it to black consumerism. What I was making was an analogy, though.
Sure.
Right?
I understand. Yeah.
Your brand, you have to present your brand like you heard them say dumb it down or water it down. Like you present your brand because at the same time you still checking somebody's pulse. Like you might not be in the market for what I have, but let me tell you, so when we talk about equally yoked and we talk about this, so if I start giving a woman who can't give me that respect because and she can't give that respect because she ain't never had it, I start doing all of this, then she gonna start falling in love, she gonna start liking that. But what might happen is it get to a point where it's like, this not the person for me. You know
Well,
what I'm
why not
saying?
withdraw, though?
So, but listen.
Okay.
Why not why not protect your brand and piecemeal it? You know what I'm saying? And more so than that, why not let her see what she's earned? You know what I'm saying? Why not let her see, like, listen, now you getting all your doors open. You know what I'm saying? Now you getting.
Let me say from on me, I understand what he's saying. I understand you saying as men. I was taught, so I do it for everybody. I don't discriminate. So whether female wise, so if you my cousins, my female cousins, my mama, my aunts, if you some females I know from school, somebody I'm dating, they all get treated the same. That's just how I was taught, and so so that's just to everybody who know me. That's how they know how I get down. So those that that quote unquote probably don't deserve it. Probably if I open a door for you and you don't say thank you, then it probably won't happen again.
Right.
But
that's all I'm saying. You gotta treat people accordingly because you can't keep going to fire to get burnt if you know that it's hot.
Because listen, we talking about chivalry and that shit sound good now, but like I'm talking from perspective. I lived it like as such. I'm not gonna say no names, but like to where I really told a woman like, don't touch no door around me. So like we pull up, the car stopped. I hop out and she know to sit there, like, because he coming to open my door. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or she 10 feet in front of me and she about to walk in and she's like, no, I'm just going to stand right here because I know he don't want me to open no door.
Right.
So we got to talk about what level of it we're dealing with. But you're right.
But if you're hanging out with your thought, then you don't care if she's bouncing off in front of you and open the door because you're just going to take her in there.
Because you got to be careful. I don't ever want to villainize women. So like she might be a woman who want to feel empowered and she might be a woman who don't like that. Like, no, I can open my own door. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where you have to play tennis, right? So like if she give me a backhand, then I got to give her a forehand. Like, okay, you can open up every door you want to. You know what I'm saying? Or I done had a woman feel giving and feel like you do a lot. Let me open your door. And I heard this first time I heard the term gentle lady. You know what I'm saying? Instead of a gentle man, a gentle lady. And so guess what? I'm not about to beef with her and be like, you can't open my door. I'm a man. These are classic roles and this chivalry. Like, I'm going to feed off of that. You know what I'm saying? You let me know how we rock.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just, I think that situationally things are relative. And for me, when I start talking about branding, and I just got this earlier, I got an earful. I'm kind of glad I hadn't shared the show yet because I know that there's a good chance that the person who gave me an earful about giving the girl a rose, like, you don't know her. She ain't earned that yet. It didn't have anything to do with and that's not your argument. And it's not yours. But
that's a mentality a lot of people have.
It's what I wanted to do. It doesn't. If you miss me and you don't see who I am, I'm fine with that. But I am not conflicted and compromised about giving my best. I work now. I've had to go into the job market, and I work for people, and I do not get paid what I am worth for what I give them. You know what I mean?
I see where you're going.
And I say that, and this is a reality that I live every day. You know what I mean? Because I don't look at the job description. I look at who I am and what it is that I do in everything that I do. And I say that to say there are people that I work with every day that say, you shouldn't be doing all that. They're not paying us enough. Well, I said it doesn't really have anything to do with them.
Right.
In 2 nights, on a Saturday and Sunday night, I was asked if I was the owner. And I said, no. I said, I just work here.
Right.
And they said, but you carrying something with you.
Right.
That's just, listen, I know who I am.
Exactly.
And it's, you don't have to have a crown on to be a king.
Or a title.
And that's it. And that's where we're messed up as black folks. And it's really not our fault. It's really because we consistently inherit the character traits of our oppressors, and this stuff is just transmigrated through our generation. And that's why we don't identify with greatness unless there is unless there's greatness associated, an acknowledgement of greatness or an acknowledgement of compensation. But what Jay say, you was who you was for you came here. So I know nobody might not know, but when them two men on Saturday and then one man on Sunday said, "Who are you?" It doesn't make sense for me to work that hard or to do to people what I did for, I mean, we're talking about marginal compensation, Kevin, and you're in the service industry, so you understand what I'm saying. We're talking about $120 to $150, and we're talking about 8 hours of your life. And your life is worth way more than that. Hell, we come in here and we don't even, not only do we not get compensated for it, but we pay to do what it is that we do. And you can't tell me that what we do is not valuable enough. It's better than what Steve Harvey and them do, and I don't have any problem with any of them. But what I'm saying is that we have a brand that we protect. Unfortunately, it's everything is, when we start talking about a pay it forward phenomena, everything is not about what they can do or should do for us. Exactly. I have to look back and look at the mercy that's been given us that we didn't deserve. So and I'm not talking. Hold on. I'm gonna just give me a second. And we're in a dark room. The mercy that's been given to us, not from God. I'm talking about from man. When we didn't deserve it, from women, because I have been bad to women and they have been loyal to me when I was not loyal to them. And I'll start there. That's the best place to start. Absolutely. And so I'll say, you know what? If I take a few losses on being good to women who don't, about. And look, and here's the benefit. Here's the benefit. Here's the benefit. Maybe I won't see the benefit. Appreciate the next man that come behind me that look like me in terms of I don't know. I'm just being honest.
Man, let me tell you, this is the definition of a fallacy right here. So what you have done is you have likened opening some doors and buying the rose to loyalty and infidelity. You know what I'm saying? That's not the same thing. So you're not going to pay for your disloyalty by, you know what I'm saying? And
you can learn from it.
You're not going to, you can, but that's not what we're talking about right here. Right here, we're talking about in the context, if I'm right, we're talking about chivalry. Right,
we're talking about grown men who have learned through experience, and we're giving our educated positions on shit. I'm not.
Okay. Okay.
But we've got to bring our experiences to the table.
But I want to, before you go, I want to turn the table a little bit. Communication and conversation between a man and a woman. And is it very hard for men and women to have a legitimate conversation? Because sometimes men may feel that women, not all, but some women listen to respond and not listen to understand. So then therefore men feel sometimes that they're not trying to be, the women don't want to hear what they have to say. And so men feel like we want to be heard too.
Exactly.
And so I know for me, if I get to that point, I just shut it down. And they'll get upset saying, how you have the right to shut it down? I said, I have that right because if you're not listening to what I have to say. Because you're not listening,
right.
You know, your whole intention is to win the conversation. And it's not about trying to hear where I'm coming from. You want me to understand where you're coming from and be understanding and empathetic, but you're not willing to understand where me as a man is coming from. And so until we are able to have a legitimate conversation, we're going to shut it down.
Right.
So what's your thoughts?
I think that's a prime example of the fact that people are in a competition. You know, relationships are very competitive. It's like I want to be the winner. And then you have all of the stuff that gets kind of messed up inside of it. If we're not coming from a place of love, I say if you start off with love, then it's like I want to hear what you're saying because I want to feel what you're saying. It's not so much about what you're saying if it's correct or not, is that I want to feel how you feel about it. To me, that's the most important thing because you don't have to agree with me, but you need to respect what I'm saying.
Right.
So when that's lost, then nothing is heard. Because if you've already made it up in your mind, it's kind of like somebody anticipating what you're going to say before you say it,
right.
Then you've already come up with a judgment on it because you're thinking that I'm going to say something. I'm like, you don't even know what I'm saying because I haven't gotten it out. And it's true because it's a competition. It's a messed up world. and you got this competition going between
I
the species.
I won't go first.
Don't let him go.
Go first.
That's gonna,
Well, I mean, when you're dealing with women, the easiest thing to do if you're a man is to not raise a fuss. If you're of any age where you've been dealing with women for a long period of time, we have daughters. So that teaches us we've learned so much from our babies. Yeah, exactly. Our daughter will be 13 on Saturday.
Teenagers will break you.
But you learn. If you're a real man, you learn from every relationship, every situation. Now, with that being said, you know that just the nature of woman is that, and I mean even biblically it says deal with her according to her understanding. If you know the nature of woman, and I'm gonna tell you something, I go around a dog and it starts barking, that shouldn't surprise me. And I am not in any way
horrible.
analogous to
Horrible.
Okay,
Let me bail you out.
Wait.
Let me bail you out.
How about a parrot?
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change the subject.
How about a parrot? How about a parrot? All I'm saying,
How about a parrot? Now he gonna switch it to a butterfly, right? First it was a dog.
Well,
Now it's a parrot.
right. What I'm
Let it be a bumblebee.
a bumblebee, and it's or a hummingbird. Okay. Let me clean it up.
We're in the conversation tomorrow, Tuesday. Go to bomb on his ass. Go to bomb on his ass.
We'll be right back.
If I go around a hummingbird, and it's and, you know, what I'm saying is that, fellas, this is game. Fellas. Chill out. Let her vent. She may not hear what you have to say. She does listen to respond, because people get in defense mode with people to a degree who they feel may have the upper hand on them, and naturally men have the upper hand. Now, what we have to do as men is not engage in that. The greatest thing that man has working for him when he comes to dealing with women is how he constructs his time. And this is not a vengeful tactic. But if you have an issue with women, hey, listen, maybe we're having some disagreement. If you want to, and it's not about checking women, but if we have issues, we should not argue with women. We say, maybe we need to spend some time apart. There's nothing that gets a woman's attention like withdrawing your time from her.
Is you finished or is you done? Okay, so hold on. Now, listen, hold on. You've been running for a minute. Let me reel this back in. Let me reel this back in. So look. What we're talking about is men sharing their feelings, and it feels like sometimes it's not. So me personally, I can say the times I have opened up to a woman, you got to be careful, because women are they'll use that against you. You know what I'm saying? So like, I've opened up to my daughter's mother about some stuff, and then when we was in court, some stuff my own mother didn't know, and when we was in court fighting for custody, she used that against me. So if you talk about men having barriers to communicate, right? Okay, so I'm a man that broke that barrier. I'm willing to tell you what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And then you use it against me. Or a lot of times what I feel in the point, what you're saying is, women want you to only be receivers and listening. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes giving feedback. But then if you start to show feelings,
no, that's not true.
Sometimes women don't know how to deal with that. Not that they don't want it, but they don't know how to deal with that. Like, that's just my personal, and I'm not talking in theory, right? I'm not talking in what sound good. I'm telling you personally, I opened up to a woman who was a daughter of my child, and we went to court and we fought for custody. Right. And what I told her in the dark, she used that against me.
Right. And before I let you go, and say what you gotta say, I saw TD Jakes on Oprah's Life Class one time, and he was talking to some women. And he pretty much said something what you said to a certain extent. He said that men want to be heard just like women want to be heard. And he said men want to be able to feel like they are safe enough to be able to express however they feel through their mate. He said the problem becomes when they do become vulnerable and say what they have to say to their mate, and then the mate use it as a form of a weapon.
Come on, TD. Come on, TD.
It's a form of a weapon towards the man, whether it's an argument or whatever.
But that's an immature woman.
And
Only a weak person does that in any
that's
situation.
an immature person.
Yeah, real talk.
I mean, we're not talking about, and you can't classify and say women. That was your experience with that individual, and y'all. She was fighting, and she said, "All's fair in love and war." That was her ideal. So she just pulled out.
But she's not the only.
I'm not saying that it was right.
She's not the only. I've seen that several times. But go ahead.
But it's still not. It still doesn't have to. I refuse to believe. That's just like with me. I defend black men to the utmost because even though we mess up, y'all do crazy stuff. But I would not ever group all of y'all and say black men are just the worst. No, because for one thing, I have a son. I'm in a relationship. I have cousins, and like you said, my family was raised like you. Mm-hmm. You know, like all my cousins, they come in with the most respect for all of us. Mm-hmm. You know, they come in. It's like what y'all need. We don't have to do anything when our men are around. Right. That's the way they do, and that's how they were raised. Mm-hmm. So I disagree with us because we already wear too many labels. We're already fighting against too many stigmas. So for us to I'm all about healing. What can we do to heal the situation, not to throw fire at it and keep saying, this is how y'all are, this is how y'all are, because it's like anything. If you keep saying that child is bad, that child is only going to get badder.
I don't think you're going to fix that. Because let me tell you, let me just say this: the nature of a woman is emotional, and when you're emotional,
men are emotional too. That's crap. Men are more emotional than women. They just hide it. They run behind it. Men are super emotional. That's why when she took you to court and she was throwing all that stuff at you, and you were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I can't." So then they grow. We go inside. We go in the shell.
I agree, but I'm saying emotional in different ways. Right, so I'm not saying a man is less emotional. We're emotional in a different way.
That's what you said.
So when you're right. I did. If you're gonna legalistic me, you got me on tape.
I am, because you be on him really bad.
But this my co-host.
That's fine.
So
I'm
on him.
Y'all got a relationship.
I'm not gonna jump on you like that.
You can. I can take it.
Oh, okay. Listen, I don't want any trouble. Okay, I'm about to be quiet. I'm about to put myself on timeout for 5 minutes. Start
break. No, you know it's all fun. It's really all fun. It's really all fun.
He ready to talk.
I know he
ready. Go ahead.
Let's go.
You can be the first.
No, you didn't finish.
No, I'm straight.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. No. I'm just come on.
I want to talk about all right, fuck. Pardon my language.
Go ahead.
But so when you really, when you want to, so you're right. We are no less emotional than women. We just display it differently, and more than what we do is we internalize it. So like for what my daughter's mother did to me in court in front of my family as I fight for my daughter, a woman would have broke down crying. You know what I'm saying? As a man, I internalized that differently and was like, I guarantee I don't tell nobody else shit about me. You know what I'm saying?
Next woman had to pay.
So, but that's not different from women, because a man pay for the sins of his predecessors too.
And that's why I said we all got problems. We need to fix these.
No, I didn't. I wasn't trying to say that to show emotions as being weak and a woman being weaker because she's emotional. I was just saying, and I said it wrong saying that they were more. They're just different. So like as a man, if you beat my ass and you catch me with a right hook, the next time I'm coming, I'm looking for that right hook. And so that's kind of how we function. I don't even remember the initial point I was trying to make. I think I was just trying to say that a lot of times women will ask you to open up. Mm-hmm. And what we do as men is I look back on the times that I was asked that and the times that I really obliged that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I don't know that every time it was really beneficial for me to open up. I think I could have just said it was nothing, let her talk, absorbed her feelings, responded to her feelings, and kept it moving. I think my feelings are an afterthought.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So, and I disagree. I think everybody's feelings are important. So your feelings are very, very important. But
to you,
but
in
right,
your opinion,
to me, in my opinion, because they should be. If I'm in a relationship, and we're talking about relationships, no doubt, right?
Right.
So in a relationship, my feelings got to be important. If you and I are together, then your feelings are just as important to me as mine should be to you.
Mm-hmm.
How we need to figure this out is we have to say, how do we communicate? What and finding that out, because see, I guess I've been around a lot longer. I know that it's not important to be right all the time.
But see, I think that's you, because you are a mature woman who's been through some things the same way I'm a mature man who's been through some things. I think a lot of times, though, as a man, our parachute when we jump out the plane called a relationship is just be quiet, listen to her, make sure she understood, make sure she felt. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about us most of the time. Like, it don't really. If I strive for peace in my house, because sometimes you have to make a decision, right? Mm-hmm. Do I want peace? Because you can win the argument and lose the person. You know what I'm saying?
And I hear what you're saying, and I understand from a male perspective. I'm about to put my coaching hat, because if we sit back and not allow ourselves to feel, and at some point in time, a man, maybe not you, but a man may blow up, and he will feel resentful because he's not getting.
You're right.
It won't. It's going to only last a short period of time.
And at the end of the day, you can't blame that person. You got to blame yourself because you're not being willing to open up.
And I agree. But let me say this. Exactly. I'll say this, and then I'll let you speak. I know you're ready. But I'll say this too. It's about what you said earlier, though. Like, I don't have to win right now, or I don't have to make my point right now.
Right.
So right now, let's do this the first round. You say how you feel. You know what I'm saying? I absorb that, and I let you know I know how you feel. And then we can revisit, because a lot of times by this time, emotions running high, you know, blood is boiling. Like, so I'm saying more of what you said before. Like,
and the more I have grown and elevated myself spiritually, the more I understand emotions could be the killer.
The Bible say the heart is a betrayer. So
therefore, if I'm dating someone and we having a conversation and we get too emotional, then I have to stop the conversation because when you in your emotions, things are going to be said that you can never take back.
You can't take back. Exactly, and that's where that maturity comes in.
Right, and so I'd rather be the villain, and say, okay, I'm going to stop this conversation right now because I don't want, because I know me. If you say something to me or about me in the heat of the moment, I'm not going to allow you to say I was mad at that moment. Because you're still accountable for everything that come out of your mouth, whether you were angry or not. And you do have to take that break. You know, you should say. That's what I was talking about in communication, like understanding that when we come to a point, a crossroad, what are we going to do there? You don't wait till you get to that crossroad. You talk about it prior to. So then I could say, you know what? I'm going shopping. I'm going to take a break.
I'll say this. I'll make a final statement because I have to run. And I have really enjoyed this. I think that we're all hitting on the same points. For men, if you're listening out there, it's really you. I think that men don't really understand the power that we have. And I think that that's our biggest problem. Years ago, my father told me and my brother that's right under me, he's like, y'all have the problems y'all have because you're not stern. Now, stern doesn't mean mean. It doesn't mean disrespectful. Right? It just means that, you know, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to be respectful. Men, if you're a real man, your borders are few and far between, but you got to stick to your boundaries.
Right.
I mean, it's really easy. Women have to have attention. Your absence, there's more that you can accomplish as a man in your absence than 100 arguments could ever do. But I think that we need to be fair to them. We need to respect them. We need to learn how to be. We need to be vulnerable enough to say, well, you know what, honey, I'm sorry. I didn't know that that's what you wanted me to do. But if you just tell me, I don't have a problem doing it. But we got to communicate. You set the tone. A man really has the power to build his life the way that he wants to. And just as a woman's anatomy will adapt to what you have, this thing is all so much. I'm telling you. I mean, it's us. It ain't them. And it doesn't matter if she's the if she's the furthest of Bull Dykes or whatever. There is no, man. Listen.
Wait a minute. What happened?
Man, men are still naturally a real alpha man is still in control of the situation. There's something that just naturally that she respects about a man, and she's willing to be led. Her natural position. If you hear a woman say that she wants to be in charge, if you ever want to say, I don't want to be married, I don't want to have, those are all just defense mechanisms for something that they think that they can't have happen.
It's something that Wanda said. In a way, I respect what she said, but in a way, it's something that I was taught too. She said that she does back and she allowed men to be men, which I respect on that end. But I was taught that I should never ask for permission from a woman to be a man.
We're living in a different age.
Well, that's the same thing.
I'll be it.
Right.
And then the woman will follow.
Right. But what I'm
these days based off of the phenomena that we're dealing with in our community.
And I think what you're going to be is like he said, the brother said, you are what you are. So I can't stop you from being a man. But as expectations go, you'll say, what are you expecting out of this relationship? What are you expecting from this person? And if we go back to the original question talking about chivalry, if a woman never expects chivalry, she's not going to expect chivalry.
Because the reality is,
but once she get a taste of it, she ain't going.
Well, that's true. Now I'm older than you.
Yes.
And so therefore, a lot of women in my age range and younger never really experienced chivalry.
Exactly.
Never.
Well, that's a lot of children I work with Atlanta Public Schools, Kevin, and they've never experienced love and respect. And when they get it, maybe they didn't realize they needed it. But she is designed, sugar and spice and everything nice. It's a little bit of a fable. But when she gets a taste of it, even if she didn't know she wanted it, even if she don't do right by the man who first introduced it to her, she gonna say, that made me feel, what Trey Songz say, unusual. You know what I mean?
That's what he say.
Yeah. You remember that? Look at that Trey Songz, unusual. What I'm saying is that once she gives her body giving the way that she freely gives her body to the right man is a manifestation of how he spiritually makes her feel.
Right. It's funny. It's because, like I said,
unfortunately.
Okay, I know you gotta go. Thank you, sir.
I gotta.
Not spiritually, emotionally.
Appreciate you.
However you want to classify.
But
look,
it's
got
a
him now.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate you, dog.
Thank you, man.
Bye.
Enjoyed it, Wanda. Well.
Y'all will be back.
But
they're in a relationship.
Like I said last week, when I date, if I was dating Wanda, I know you take it, but if I was dating Wanda, I could never come over Wanda's house empty-handed ever in life. I'm always going to bring something to drink, something to eat, whatever situation may be, I'm going to bring it.
That's an old school right there.
That's
real.
old school,
yeah, that's
right?
real.
You know what
like
I'm saying?
that. Yeah.
And so
that's real.
I'm very consistent with what I do with that. And so Music Month was like, I was telling her how I had a situation where the young lady I was dating, we had been dating for a minute, and her grandmother came in town. So her grandmother came in town and she was cooking. So she called me and said, come on over. My grandmother cooking.
Okay.
She said, can you bring some Grey Goose?
Not a problem.
Not a problem.
Not a problem.
But Music Month was like, because if he looked at it as if she tried to take advantage of the situation, but no, it's not to take advantage of the situation. I'm being consistent on who I am,
Right.
And I'm going to eat up or drink up something in your household anyway. And first of all, me and her both like vodka, so it's nothing more. It wasn't nothing more for me at the time to bring some Grey Goose. So it's nothing. It wasn't like I wasn't doing anything
That you don't normally do.
normally do. And like you said before, I think, or it might have been him. Once they get a taste of it, because she'd never been treated like that before. Once she got a taste of it, she enjoyed it because she felt a different level of respect and or love that she had never been taught, taught before or even been given before. And so even though we didn't work out, I think it was level of expectation that she took from there that she expects from all men. And so even though it doesn't work, even though it doesn't work out, I was the seed to help her
grow.
See, this is where I say that could be dangerous though, right? Because okay, now you used to getting your doors open, used to getting your Grey Goose. You know what I'm saying? that could lead to a lot of frustration because the type of men who are opening doors and are bringing Grey Goose require higher caliber of effort from their woman than what you're willing to. You know what I'm saying? So here's what we get to. Now you about to start bad mouthing men, right? But it's not men. So let me tell you, men mankind. I don't mean men as in men. Mankind attract not what you want, but what you are. So like when a woman tell me she been dealing with ain't shit niggas all her life and all I hear in my head is that mean you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so because you gonna pull something, the way the world work, you gonna attract what you are. And even if they're not your exact match, you gonna pull something good out that woman.
It's funny,
she gonna step up, or that man gonna step up.
I'm glad we want to talk to them in a second, but it's funny you said that because I had a client, and she talking about how she want to get married, and how but the couple of men that she was she been dating lately, and I let her say what her issues with the men. I said once she got finished with the issue, I said we're gonna focus on the fact that you attracted these men to you and you chose these men. So what is it within you and your thoughts or your actions or whatever that you are attracting these type of men to you? Because that's the issue that we got to, whether it's for women or for men, or for men. Because
I want to talk about that
for men, because I know when I was younger, I attracted a certain type of woman, and I know why. Because I was a party boy back then, and I liked party girls. So then, therefore, a good girl would never come my way.
Because you didn't want her to.
Because I didn't want her to. And so that's what I had to explain to the women. I said, because if a lot of these women feel that there are no good men, the good men are either married or in jail
or on the down low.
Or on the down low.
Nah, that's not the case here.
On the
that's
down
not
low.
the case in Atlanta at all. Listen, I know a ton of good dudes.
But right. But if they believe,
but men say the same thing about women. I mean, that's the consensus too.
But see,
with men, aren't you saying the same thing?
It is a little bit,
okay.
but men are trash. Like I don't never hear no dude be like, "Yeah, girls are trash."
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
but
I'm like, I tried for us, man. I tried.
I'm like you too. I'm like you. I'm not gonna say I might have my experiences, but I'm not gonna never. I still
them all out.
Right. I love my black women. So at the end of the day, if I make it seem like all women are a certain thing, then I will never attract the woman for me, because I'm already saying they all are.
Yeah, because you cancel them out.
Exactly.
Anytime you put a but behind a statement, then you canceled out what was in front of it. You're like, hey, they're great, but you just canceled, you killed it all.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's a full cancellation.
It's not a full cancellation.
But yeah, so what's your thoughts
on
whatever you want to talk about?
Well, no, I mean you were talking about attraction, the law of attraction, basically, and I think it's true, but it goes both ways. So
I do.
So if my brother here, what's your name?
Squeals.
Squeals. Okay, so if Squeals is saying, like these chicks keep coming to me and they're, whatever, then it's like, no, yes, you did.
I didn't say that.
Okay, all right.
Nothing about coming to me.
No, you hanging out with them. They come and you say, hey,
I said what I've seen in my tenure.
Squeals, I'm not gonna do this with you.
I'm trying to worm out of it. Go ahead and make your point. Go ahead and make your point.
No, but I'm saying that we all have places in our life where we, like you say, I was partying, so you attracted a certain energy to you or whatever. And then how do you work through that? Because I think that's the bigger question right there.
Right.
People, we all can change, and then we all raise our levels of expectations.
Right.
So if now she's gotten comfortable with the Grey Goose coming to the house. And it's not even about the Grey Goose, because this is kind of like talking about what you said. One man make him purchase the Grey Goose and another man can't. Okay, it's not even about that. It's about it's about time. It's about how she treat him.
Right.
How she treat her. You know, it's nothing wrong with the Smirnoff. I mean, I find like in back in my days, which I had a great time with a guy, and what we would do is go to the restaurant and have grits. Because that's what we could afford at the time.
Right.
So we went, and my thing was, I want a cup of hot butter grits. You know, and that was the best thing, because guess what? When he came around, he brought my hot butter grits.
Right.
And that was satisfying. Right. So it doesn't really matter. It's just like, where are you at in your heart? Where are you at in your spirituality? That has a lot to do with it. If you're out here just dogging people, just trying to say, what can I get from them? And you're not ever bringing nothing. You're not ever bringing anything. You're just trying to be a taker, called parasite, spiritual vampires. Then that's what you're going to end up with.
I think.
But you know that going in. Because just like women have intuition, men have a high level of discernment.
I think, so I say this. So this is what, let's bring it full circle. So when we was talking about chivalry, and I was saying what you deserve, right? This is kind of what I was alluding to, right? Because like, the Bible talk about don't cast your pearls among swine, right? So what I'm just saying is, like, I understand building a brand, and I understand being consistent, and I can agree with what he's saying there in theory. I just think that doesn't acknowledge the fact that it's a lot of men and women out here who just want to take, who are parasitic. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
Like, I don't want to be given that and somebody's using me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be given that in a meaningful way. You know, that's what I say about that. And as far as the law of attraction, you're right. You called me out, tried to wiggle out of it. But yeah, this is what I feel. You attract what you are, not what you want. Right. So, like, this is why when I hear dudes or girls talking down on their baby mama, their daddy, their ex-wife, their ex-husband, you don't realize is, as you get older, see, you mad, you hurt, you want to lash out. But what it does is it reflect on you, because this who you chose to lay with, and you made a child with, and you married. You know what I'm saying?
You attracted that person, and you chose that person.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You can't talk down on them without talking down
on yourself.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's why it's like, no matter what happened, a wise person will keep their mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? And a wise person will try to convey the story balanced. Right. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's still hurt, they're going to attack the other person, and they're going to magnify their flaws. But what you're doing is you magnifying all the flaws you accept.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's funny because I was saying last week, I was dating this young lady, and she said, you know, you're a great young guy, great guy. Why aren't you married? And I said, because I wasn't marriage material. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's what you said.
That's a fact. And she looked at it as if I was being negative towards myself. I said, I'm not being negative towards myself. I'm just telling the truth about myself at that moment.
At that time.
At that time. I said, somebody like you at that time was not on my radar. Because you would have an expectation or requirement from me that I was not willing to give you.
Right.
So therefore, you was not somebody I want to come my way. And so she said, I never thought like that. I said, because if everybody took enough time within themselves to assess who they are,
introspection,
and figure out why they attracted who they attract, who
are they,
and what you really want.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's the same thing with social media, right? So, you can't be on here holding, you know what I'm saying, a pound of hundreds up to your ear and be like, oh, man, all these girls just want me for my money. You know what I'm saying? You can't be out here as a woman half naked and be like, all these dudes just want to smash. You know what I'm saying? Look at yourself first and what you drawing to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I think the last thing I'll say about chivalry, I think it never dies. Because have a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Have a daughter and you automatically go into chivalry mode. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I kind of went down the path of deserving it, because he's right. My daughter was a baby. She hadn't done nothing but shit, eat, and smile, and she was still treated chivalrous. So it can't be all about that. But as she grows older, I know ain't nobody gonna have my back like her. You know what I'm saying? So it might not start out a meritocracy, right? But at the end of the day, for me, it is based on that. You know, so
Because if you ain't gonna show chivalry to anybody, you gonna show chivalry to her.
right.
Yeah.
But
I don't even think, but I think that's a misturn, because chivalry, you can't show chivalry to your daughter. You show care and
care,
concern, and you taking care of your baby
But
girl.
you said
but
your
you're not
cousins
chivalry.
show chivalry
No, I didn't
to
say
you.
he shows chivalry. I said that he treats all of the women
okay.
the same, with
Okay.
respect.
I got you.
But
I
it's
got
not
you.
chivalry. Chivalry is the term for the male and the female dynamic.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Like I agree with you. Our families are a lot alike because, the male cousins, we take very good care of the females in our family. They don't need or want for anything. They don't touch anything. They don't touch a door. Like you said, it just took me back, because if they did go grocery shopping, let's say I'm in town and they went grocery shopping, they knew I was there. They're not bringing a grocery bag in there. They be like, "Kev, can you go to the car and get my stuff?" And I go there and get it. Even if, like, me and my cousin, we would be hang out thick as thieves, we'd go to the mall, go shopping. They thought I was her man because I carried every bag for her. She did not touch a bag.
Yeah.
That was just how I was.
Yeah, that's
been
how
there
we was
before.
raised, and that's not, that's just the respect. Because, like, my brother, if he came to town, and if we went to the grocery store, or he could come to town and say, "Hey, what we need from the grocery store?" He gonna go buy it.
Yep.
He gonna bring it in. He gonna put it up. He may even cook the breakfast because he likes to cook. So that's just how that whole rearing of the child is. So of course now that's going to translate into how he treats women,
Right.
Because that's what he was raised to do.
Right.
So he's going to treat his women like that.
Right.
Then the confusion part is they misunderstand it for
Absolutely.
a relationship.
Yep. Yep. But you can't stop being
Who you are, right? So again,
because you do that, you give away your power.
And it always goes back to respect the self and communication. If you and this is just across the board with relationships, you just got to tell people, what are we doing here?
Right.
And it's not for you to take away your chivalry. If even you can be chivalrous and not be in a relationship, it has nothing to do with that. So if you are a man that opens the door, then what do you care whether you sleeping with her 1 time or 10 times or 50 times?
No, but I didn't say that.
I didn't say you did.
Oh, you said you.
No,
so you
we're
mean
talking
you as
about
people.
right
Yeah.
as gentlemen,
And that's how I know. Like, when you say it, I say thank you. Like, little stuff like that differentiate you from the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that it does.
It really does.
A lot of women don't say thank you. And
Put on the stank face.
and
Like, don't.
and
I know you're
right.
about to try to talk to me. Don't try to talk to me. And it's like, sweetheart, not even close.
But let me
know
tell
what
you,
I'm saying?
I go in.
Just be respectful.
I carry myself with a certain about. And he used the term brand, and I think the term brand is overused.
Yep.
That's something that's kind of like
Buzzword.
people. Yeah, it's just it's
Think
crazy.
outside the box
It's just
for
we
your brand.
being who we are
For collaboration.
And so when I go into a room, I'm gonna come in there with a smile. My energy is gonna flow. My light is gonna shine. I was at the I was at the bar just to stop by and get me a bean burger, and I sat down, was talking to we were just talking, a couple people at the bar. So we started talking, and I said, hey, the wing place carries vegan wings. And she was like, what, for real? Oh my goodness, I didn't know. Because she was telling me about all the places in the area. This is just an example of just people treating one another good. And so I got ready to check out, and she said to the bartender, I'm paying for her drink because she gave me a tip on a restaurant and da-da-da. I said, but you don't have to do that. Well, I'm doing it anyway. Just point blank, period. But it's because of your light. But it's because I'm talking about your light. When you go in with your light shining, that's why when I walk in, and I'm going to say thank you because I'm appreciative. I went, this was some years back, I went on a date, and, you know, the guy was opening the door and does this and that and the other things. And we got to the restaurant, and he ordered. He asked me, what did I want? And he ordered for us. That was his shit. You know, he liked to do that. Right. So it was fine. So then when the food came, and then I just turned over, and we were sitting on the same side, because I like to sit with my date. You know, I don't like to sit across. I like to sit like next to each other. Like so then I just reached over and I just like cut his salad up for him. He was like, wow, he had never had that done before. You know, but it's like, if you really care about people, and it's not even about, it's about getting to know people. I want you to know who I am. I want to know who you are. And these things won't change. So I'm very consistent. So
do you think the way society is right now with the whole microwave society, instant, that the thing that you just said, maybe even something you even allude to, that we don't take the time to get to know each other, so then therefore we don't know what idiosyncrasies that each person need to feel
empowered or just on their shit, right, so to speak. You know, like that's like, you could say like that's my shit, you know, like that's what I like to do. So I agree. I know we're far past, you know, this whole communication. It's like people, we live in a fantasy for the most part. You know, you got social media running people's lives, and you got all of these personas of people, like you dealing with the representative, and then the true person you never do see, and then when you do, you're like, oh, what, you know, they took off everything, and you're like, who is that person? So I agree, we have to, in order to just find that balance, you have to first start with yourself, and we talked about that, knowing who you are, and then knowing what your expectations are. So you have to have some.
So do y'all think I'm gonna ask you this question first. Do you think that everybody put on these representatives because they fear that if they be their true authentic self, they won't be liked?
I think most of it is they don't know how to be exposed. Everybody's afraid of being vulnerable. So it's like you wear makeup for so long and you forget how you look without it. You know, men and women included, because it's like in some cases when people are hurt, and hurt people, and then if you hurt and you kind of go in your shell and you don't let people know who you are, your emotional self, and you know, you just kind of like, no, I'm just, you know, you're gonna play it safe. It's like our little safety net. And I think that's the breakdown. You know, it's truly what's causing. Good relationships can be great. Right. You know, if we were open up, like if you tell somebody what you really like what I like in every level, what I like, communication style, how certain people may say, well, you know, I really like to be outdoors, and another person's like, well, I don't. So like, what do we do? Right. You know, and this is fine because you can still be outdoors. I could be in the house and we come together and we're together, right? You have to compromise. So it's the same thing with exposing yourself. I wouldn't want to be with somebody that I couldn't let them know exactly who I was. Right. You know, period. Because then it's like you said, then you having these regrets.
I think the biggest thing missing right now is really loyalty and commitment. You know what I'm saying? Because I talk to people, you know, before I got married, the first time I got married, my only time, let me not say first, because that makes it sound like I've been married a lot. More than one. Right, but, you know, I went and I sought wisdom from people who were married for 45 years plus. You know what I'm saying? And one thing, I got other bits of wisdom, but that's a whole nother show. But one thing they said was, marriage is not about love. It's about commitment and loyalty. It's about you gonna stay. So you're going to fall in and out of love. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you don't leave. And I think that's what we like now. So we like that loyalty and commitment. So, like, the first time I ain't been in love with you for 4 weeks, I'm filing divorce. You know what I'm saying? When my grandparents was married 50 years, God rest my grandmama's soul, you know what I'm saying, died married. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? They came in and out, and you know what I'm saying? But I think no one is willing to put in that time and that effort no more. Like, I think we are a microwave generation. We are an
Absolutely.
instant dopamine generation. You press a heart on a piece of page and it releases dopamine in my brain type of generation. So go ahead, brother.
Because you said something that sparked another question. So, you dating a young lady, you dating a dude. I'm dating a young lady.
You dating a young dude?
No, young lady. What if? I'm very private.
Okay.
I'm messing with you.
I'm very private. I'm not gonna post. I'm not gonna tag that person on social media.
I'm not doing that.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would. I don't know if I think me and a woman really like about to hit that path where like we about to go at it. Let's social media fast together.
You deleting your social media
Let's
page?
social media fast together, like, because what that does is that bring and I'm not doing this to attack women, but like women, they want to show you off. They love you and they, you know what I'm saying. But what that does is that bring more scrutiny. That bring more people who hate on your happiness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying. That bring a lot of extra stuff. So sometimes I think the way it's going now, like if you find love, hide it. You know what I'm saying? Like you
I
and
asked
her.
that question because I saw it was like a post and they had feedback going back and forth about majority of people believe that if you don't tag the person that you're dating and let them know that you're in a relationship with that person,
Yep.
that you have something to hide.
Yep. So I can give you this feedback. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Give them the feedback.
So I can give you this feedback. So I was married for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So she had a social media, and that shit was, in my opinion, was a real negative influence because every boyfriend she had since second grade could find her and shoot his shot. And so what would happen is eventually when we would have a problem, all her old boyfriends got access to that. Because what she's having a problem and she's going to make a post that the wolves can smell blood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So guess what? Now 14 of her last ex-boyfriends, and I'm just making up a number, but they can shoot that shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's beauty to being connected, and then it's danger to being connected like that. You know what I'm saying?
What's your thoughts?
I think that's true. You know, I think it's wise if you did a social media fast, if that was necessary. I'm glad that my guy doesn't do social media. So, and then too, I'm very private too because I'm public, so I'm private. You know, so I don't want to be.
It's that most people like that. Most people who are public.
I have to be private.
You
Very
have
private.
to be. You have to be.
Because it's just it's unrealistic to think that people won't be in your business. It's like if it's like this. I heard a statement that said, you know, I can't even remember what it was, but basically talking about if you give somebody permission to look, then they're gonna, you know, they're gonna talk about it. And I don't want it to be where we're influenced. That's like the whole thing, not just social media, but you can take it to old school and telling your friends and your family about what's going on. And then you've made up with your girl and the family mad that you made up with your girl, you know, but that's because you invited them into the table because you could have just said, and I, it was a couple, I seen them, beautiful couple. And he said this, he said when he got married that he told his wife, regardless of what goes on, you're not going home to your mama and I'm not going home to my mama. I'll go to the couch, but we're going to solve this, and we're not calling up our parents. We're not calling up our cousins, our friends, and nothing. We're going to solve this until, you know, we're going to work on this until it's solved. We're not bringing anybody into our marriage. And he said then, you know, 50, 60 years later,
I think
that's where they are.
That's a part that's hidden from us. So like my family celebrated my grandparents married 50 years. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that those type of days they didn't talk about. Like, guess why? Because they didn't know about them. So I would say this to men out there: if you find a woman that things get bumpy and she keep her mouth closed even to her best friend, if she respect what you and her got going on, and I'm not talking about like life-threatening, abusive stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm saying if y'all having an argument and she quick to run off and tell somebody, watch that. You know what I'm saying? Because we are all human beings. Whether you want to admit it or not, you are going to be influenced by something. You know what I'm saying? You had a decision to choose what influenced you, but we all going to be influenced by something. So a woman that can keep mess in the house, and more importantly, a woman that can keep good stuff in the house, she a keeper.
But you have to, and again, I think it goes to communication. You know, these are some things that you establish at the first date.
Exactly.
You know, the third date or whatever. When we kind of like, because we live in that microwave society, we want to start things before we really ready to start things, you know, and I think it's really time if we could just take a pause. You know, you take somebody out, it's like, okay, they're cool, but you don't really know them yet. So you got to go through that process and you got to do the dance. And that's what people don't like to do. They don't want to do the dance. They just want to go straight to, oh, yes, I want a relationship, you know, the whole thirsty thing, like straight in there. Oh yeah, he looks like a great guy. He's da 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 da. It's not. And what I listen to, because when I talk to people, I said I hear the person, what the person does. I don't hear who the person is. You know, it's like, oh, he's this and he got a
That's
degree
a
and he got to
whole
drive this
nother
and he lives
conversation.
over there and you know he's here and he's. It's like,
So this
but
one-
I don't hear who he is.
So this is what I had. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because when I first moved down here, I was at this restaurant called Arizona's, and you know,
East
it's
Side.
Like
East
throwing
Side,
you.
you know, black-owned restaurant, you
Be
know,
jumping.
professional crowd, all this kind of stuff. So I went there, and it was these 3 young ladies. They all worked at AT&T, making great money.
Don't say no companies.
They don't pay us.
Right. Okay.
Scratch that.
They was professionals
C&D.
making
Professional
good money.
ladies.
Professionals
And
making
so-
good money. Bought to you by AT&T.
So one of the ladies asked me, "What do I do for a living?" And I said, "There's other information. There's other questions you could ask me.
Yes.
There's other questions
on.
you could ask me.
Let's talk.
You get to know who I am than what I do for a living. Because what I do for a living is not who I am. It's what I do." And so she said, "Well, if you're not willing to answer that question, that means you're not about shit."
Let me tell you what I
So
got for you.
so I said, well, okay, I will accept that. But my thing is this: who I am, what I do for them is not who I am. So then, therefore, I want you to tell me something. Tell me who you are. But don't tell me what you do for a living. Wait, your social economic status.
Where you live at, what you
kind of car
drive, how many
none of
red
that.
bottoms you got in the
Exactly.
closet that's
And
fake.
she could not do it. She could
Right.
not do it. So therefore, you're not on the same level.
You're not on the same
Okay,
level.
so I did a little experiment. So, like, in the last 6 months, I've never met a girl and talked to a girl, and it took more than 3 questions before she asked me what I did or where I worked at.
Wow.
So look, now y'all
That's what I'm
sitting
talking
here,
about.
y'all sitting here talking like I'm wrong when I be like, don't be chivalrous with everybody. It's some sharks out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you don't even know my last name. You won't know what I do and where I work at.
Then walk away.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know how many kids I listen, Atlanta is turning into such a pretentious city. It's like they gonna have speed dating in a minute where you walk around with your name and your yearly earnings on your name tag. And then that's gonna decide.
And that doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean
Nothing.
anything. Because let me tell you something. If a woman really want loyalty from a man, stay down when and I'm up, but like stay down when I'm down. You know what I'm saying? And then I give you the world
Or
when I
get
get
sick and you can't be up.
it. Right.
You know, like you probably up because you can go and you know, most of the time we trading, you know, hours for dollars. But what if you can't go trade those hours for dollars? You know, then how up will we be?
But I will say, me personally, I will not make a blanket statement about all women in Atlanta or nothing like that. I know what I've ran into kind of give me the feeling, and I'm going to tie this back to your conversation about chivalry and about how from the beginning I said selectively be chivalrous, right? Because the woman that met me and the second question out her mouth was damn near how much money you got. She doesn't deserve my chivalry. She doesn't deserve my time. But if we can hang out and be friends, I'm not gonna give you my chivalry though. Like you
Why
gonna
not?
need to open your own doors, or you can go.
Oh my goodness, you hard.
So you gonna
hard.
justify a woman's second question out her mouth being what kind of money I make? That's what you're doing.
Yep, that's what I'm doing because again, that has nothing to do with you.
Well, don't listen. See, y'all say that because it's cool, but so Tommy Hilfiger got 17 brands. So to the people who have the most money, it's Tommy Bahama, right? And then I also got a Tommy outlet. It's still Tommy, but I need to market to what's around.
Nope, I'm still not gonna agree.
Okay.
Because your spirit is going to speak to you. It has nothing to do with the nothing.
I don't lose to Tommy Bahama because I sell discount Tommy.
But your spirit has nothing to do with her confusion. Because there's a lot of people walking around very confused. They watching Atlanta Housewives. They watching whatever these Love and the Hippity Hops and all of that other kind of stuff. Very confusing because it's not reality. You know, and they're not being taught the basic things which is like you said, loyalty, commitment, trust.
Okay, so look, let's get ratchet then. Let's get ratchet for a second. You don't give everybody
this is
everything.
Motivational Monday.
So look, hold on, let me go on and get ratchet, okay? And I won't be back on here. So if y'all people are offended, don't hold this against my dog Kevin. This is a great man. But like, listen, it's levels you display. So it's levels I'm display based on what I feel and what I interpret. So for example, if I'm having sex, right, and I don't care about her or I don't want her to be tied to me, I'm not about to give her
Why you
A1.
having sex with her?
I'm not about to give her A1 because we people and we have needs.
Because you be putting your gold, her silver and your gold. I mean, you shouldn't even be messing around with that. You transferring energy.
Listen, but that's easy to say verbatim, right? That's easy to say. Like you should never do that. Like, okay, let you go through a little drought. Like, I bet you got you some dick at home right now while you telling me about that. So
you let him talk to me like that on Motivational Monday.
Anyway, that mean you right. That's a you right bell right there. But what I'm saying though is you. Regardless, I understand what y'all saying. Like, man, I've been in corporate America for a long time. I understand the brand.
We're not talking about the brand. We're not using brand words.
But what I'm saying,
he's gone. We're not taking this mic
what I'm
over
just
there.
saying is, you can't give everybody everything. You know what I'm saying? And you should never do that. You should never. I don't care what you say. If a woman I met and I'm cool with for a month is not gonna be able to get what out of me with a woman who for 9 months been down for me, done showed herself true. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be giving everything out the gate. So I can give you some. I can give you some Tommy Hilfiger on discount at a Tanger, but I can't give you that Tommy Bahamas.
What's your question?
What is your definition of chivalry? Maybe I've missed that point. What do you do? What do you do that you call chivalrous?
And you know what? Maybe this is my fault because I look at chivalry as like a mind frame that you engage women with. I don't look at chivalry as just like opening the door or closing the door. I don't look at chivalry as just like some acts. I look at chivalry as a mind frame.
So what does that consist of? I want tangible things that I can wrap my head around the understanding of it, and then
I'm about to put you on the pedestal.
I understand.
I'm about to put you on the pedestal. You're not touching no doors.
We talked about doors. What else?
Feet
we
rubs.
About?
I mean, whatever you ask, you know what I'm saying. Like most of what you want, you're not gonna have to ask for. But then whenever you ask, you know you got it. Okay. That's what I consider chivalry, like pampering a woman, babying a woman. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not going to give that out like, now if we just talking about, maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's a dialect thing. Mm-hmm. So if we just talking about opening doors, like, I don't mind opening the door. Like, It's only going to be about 5 of them for the night. So
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying because you clearly said that, you know, if you're not the one, then I'm not going to be, you know, opening the doors, you know, being, you know, kind and gentle and stuff. So we don't want to, I mean, you know, you can go with Google, but we smart enough to figure out. And it's all a matter of perception, because what I consider chivalry, like he said his definition of chivalry, which he's going to put her on a pedestal. He's going to be very catering, nurturing, all this other kind of stuff. So to me, that's like you just in a full blown relationship. That has nothing to do with, or maybe it has everything to do with chivalry. It's just the way that you treat one another.
Here's a definition from the internet. The combination of qualities expected of an ideal knight, especially courage, honor, courtesy, justice, and a readiness to help the weak.
So you mean to tell me that you're going to park that on the side because somebody is treating you a certain way?
So wait. I think you think it's chivalry or disrespect.
You just read the definition. See, you went to the definition, not me.
So where does the definition say?
What does it say?
The combination of qualities expected of an ideal knight, especially courage, honor, courtesy, justice, and a readiness to help the weak. So
now that sounds like something that you're going to have all the time.
So you can't be non-chivalrous and not be disrespectful, is what you're saying? You're saying you're either chivalrous or disrespectful.
Huh?
It sounds like you're saying, are you? Because I said,
no,
even
you
if
said
I'm not,
it.
Hold on, I'm saying even if I'm not chivalrous, that don't mean I'm being disrespectful.
No,
right?
You said it. You read
so
the definition.
Let me ask you a question. I'm asking you a question.
You read the definition.
Can I not be chivalrous and not be disrespectful? Do you think it's either chivalry or disrespect?
I think according to that definition, that's a beautiful definition.
Mm-hmm.
Because now once it talked about doors being opening or anything. So even when starting out the conversation, our old school minds was talking about doors opening, showing up at the house in a certain kind of way, like all of that. But this is clearly just talking about sheer respect of taking your date and taking care of your date, making your date feel safe and all this stuff. So you would not dare. You can't tell me that you.
So it's a yes or no question. Is chivalrous?
I had a talking stick. I do have a talking stick. Okay. So you can't tell me that you're going to do a 360 because she is, quote, unworthy.
360 come back to the same point. You mean 180?
Okay, a 180.
Okay.
All right, you're too smart for me. We already know.
No, I'm not saying that.
Or sarcastic?
No.
Or what?
No.
Because you knew where I was going with that.
Okay.
But that's okay.
Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I'm good.
I think
it's on you.
I don't got nothing to say.
Yes, you do. You got a lot to say. You hurt. You got a lot of past hurt. You
I just don't think
you lay them down on the couch.
I just don't think they're mutually exclusive.
Kevin fix you up.
I think you taking this way more personal than you should.
No,
this is just,
I'm not taking it personal.
The only question I asked was, is there only chivalry or disrespect? Right? Because based on the way you talking, you sound like if I'm not being chivalrous, I'm being disrespectful.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Run the tape back, Nat.
Okay, so is there only chivalry or disrespect?
No, there's not.
That's all it took.
There's not only chivalry or disrespect. I'm not talking about you being disrespectful. I didn't say that.
I know. What I was saying was, I understand what you're saying. You're making the point that every woman deserves what that definition just read.
If you're taking her out, I believe so.
And what I'm trying to just tell you is, even if you don't give a woman this, I agree that no woman deserves to be disrespected.
But that, according to that definition right there, if you break down that definition right there, it's just a simple fact of, if we're on a date, whether we're sleeping together or not, you're the man, so you're supposed to have a certain covering over a woman. That's all I'm saying. Because if you come to my home, then I'm supposed to be a hostess, regardless of what your position is.
But if you're a hostess,
is that not correct?
If you're a hostess, you can ask me if I want something to drink without having courage, honor, courtesy, all these buzzwords, right? Like, you can go through the motions of being a hostess without this ideologic definition.
That's chivalry.
Okay, all right.
That's
see,
again I say this. You went to the definition to refer to Webster, where you could have just kept it with your definition of chivalry, but you went to Webster's definition of chivalry, so that's why I responded to that definition.
Okay.
And all I'm saying is, anytime a man is with a woman, there should be a certain level of covering over her to make sure that she's safe and secure. Period. That's all I'm saying.
That's
and
respect.
whether we're sleeping together, not whether we're on a friendly date, whether we're co-workers, associates, like this is just the whole makeup.
Right.
And truly we've gotten away from that because it's like, oh, I'll treat her like that if she is over here.
But here's the thing.
But I'm not going to treat this one like that.
Don't mistake chivalry for respect. That's what I'm saying. So, like, any woman that you come in contact with, you should treat with respect. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you should not have respect for a woman if she didn't earn it.
Run the tape back, Ned. Run it.
See, here we go. Here's the difference because it sounds to me like you think chivalry and respect mean the same thing. So let's do this then. Let's do this.
That's not what I said. That you're going to the Webster with all of these definitions, and we were just having this conversation about treatment of people, and you said that if she's not at that level, I don't really care about her like that. Then I don't really think that she deserves a chivalrous type of treatment. Okay. We didn't say that.
Yeah. So if she doesn't deserve chivalry, are you thinking I'm saying she doesn't deserve respect? Is that how you're taking it? Because, see, that's what I'm trying to get to. I think you and I are having an argument about understanding of words, or words we feel differently about. So I think you think chivalry means respect. I think chivalry means whipped cream with the cherry on top. So if we're talking about general respect, every human being on earth deserves respect. And you must give them respect. You know what I'm saying? Because I demand that from not just people, but see, when we talk about people we dating or in relationships, that's different. I demand respect from a nigga on my bar.
I agree with you. That's what I said.
I think the way the disconnect came about is when he read the
dictionary.
I think she respected once she got an understanding of what you thought
chivalry was.
She got a better understanding what you were coming from.
And that's what I said.
What messed it up was when you read the dictionary.
Probably
because then she responded to that response.
Because here's what I was trying to do. I'm trying to find the middle ground.
No, but I respected you. What you said, I respected that because I said to you, I said, well, tell me what your definition of chivalry is. And you say she get the feet rubbed, the cherry on top, the sitting on the pedestal. I said, oh, so you're in a relationship. That's what I said. Mm-hmm. I said, so, you're in a relationship. And you was like, well, let me see what the dictionary say. And then we went to the dictionary.
Because I was just trying to illustrate to you that.
Because see, it's a difference.
When I meant best behavior, when I meant giving that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So how could you say a woman deserves that no matter what? But when I say giving that, I see
no.
what you're saying.
I'm going with your definition.
I see what you're saying.
And I agree with you because if you're not the one, then no, I shouldn't be rubbing your feet. Because see, I give back rubs, but I don't give them that to everybody.
Right.
If that's if that's a booty call, then I'm just gonna go get a booty call. We talking about the difference
in word understanding. That's the only thing we talking about. Because I understand something different, and I'm probably wrong. Please forgive me. Like I was thinking something totally wrong, but. Now I understand what you saying.
See, this was a good example of where the communication between men and women could get totally thrown off because of one wording. You could say it one way, and he could interpret it another way. You could say it one way, and she could interpret it another way, and it'd be a disconnect. And both of y'all pretty much on the same page.
Right. So she's saying a woman should always be treated with respect. I agree with her on that. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, what I was thinking was chivalry was
the next level.
Okay, I'm gonna do some extra for you. Like you're not gonna ever have to touch a door when you around me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I'm thinking chivalry is. But based on the definition and based on what you're saying, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, my interpretation of chivalry ain't what it say something kind of pertaining to, like, damn near a relationship. So it's kind of in my corner a little bit. But I understand what you saying. I misunderstood. My thoughts on chivalry was have your cake and eat it too.
And that sounds good.
Yeah, but that's not. But I think what we're talking about in general is chivalry more like respect.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we
Like-
talking about, respect. We just talking
and
about
again,
respect. We're
like-
not talking about all that extra.
Like Kevin brought up a good point. Definitely everything can get foggy when people are communicating. It's just not male, female. It's communication
Period.
across the board. Two women can be talking about the same thing and one have a different idea, just like two men can. But and that's why I asked the question the way I did is because I wanted to see what the definition, your definition of it is.
It was a good question because how he saw it and how I saw it was two different ways.
Was two different ways, right? And y'all both male
let
and
me ask you
male.
this question. So if a man asks you out on a date, okay, he not opening your doors, but he pay for your meal. Is that being chivalrous?
Well, again, you talking about me personally, or you just being in general? 'Cause
Well,
I don't know
we
how
can
to
only
speak
talk
with-
in personal. Yeah,
right.
let's talk about
So
personal.
with me, the men that I date, hang out with, been married to, all that kind of stuff, they open doors. That's like just a given. But and I liked when he said, okay,
wait,
so
wait,
you
wait.
don't ever open doors. No, that's not true. I do open doors because if he's carrying something in his hand, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, he can put that down and open the door. I'll open the door. I'm talking about, but 95% of the time, then we're operating out the same thing on when we get dressed.
Okay, so
he
let's
opens
take
the
it
door.
out of you. Make it.
I can't make it out of me.
Ideology.
I can't talk about it out of me.
Ideologically. So let me ask you then. Ideologically, if a man asks a woman out on the date, he's paying for everything, but she have to open her own doors. Is that being chivalrous?
I'm talking to you.
I'm talking to you.
To me?
Yeah.
Good question. It is to a certain extent because he did offer to pay everything.
Everything.
But for me, I would still open the doors. But at this day and age, I don't know.
So if he opening all the doors, but he not paying, is he being chivalrous? You see what I'm saying? Like we the definition we chasing. Like I think chivalrous a bad word. Like we need to.
But
just
no,
come
we
back
can
to
stick
something.
with Webster's dictionary because
Because
that really, again,
honor, courage, bravery. Like we trying to translate them into opening doors and paying for dinners.
Well, okay. First of all, opening doors is one thing. Paying for dinners, that's something too. It's nothing. We talking about money. And and this might not have anything to do with the subject, but we talking about money. It's just money.
Right.
We put too much weight on it. It's just money. So
I'm not even talking.
Somebody got to pay for the dinner.
I'm trying to get to chivalry. I don't care about money.
We talking about chivalry,
Right.
And you said doors.
And so I asked if it was money without the doors, would that be chivalry? And then I asked if it was doors without the money, would it be chivalry?
But you
and I
said
didn't get no
that
answer.
chivalry is not about door opening.
So then
See,
my answers to my question would be
chivalry encapsulates everything. It's talking about how I'm treated by the person that I'm with, whether we're together or just together hanging out. Now, if we're just together hanging out, it's like, hey, Roy, I got the tab. I got the tab. Like we're friends, but for instance, I have male friends. We hang out, we'll go to dinner or whatever. Like, cool, okay, I got the meal this time. But he's going to open the door all the time because that's what he does as a man.
So is that being chivalrous because he opened the door?
We could call it whatever you want to call it.
See,
I'm exhausted.
No, listen. This the point I'm getting to, right? So it's ambiguity in the term, right? That's what it sounds like is going on because it's ambiguity in the term. Because nobody can give a real. That's why I went to Google. That's why I went to Google.
No, that's not why you went to Google.
What Google. Thank you for telling me my intent. That's
not why you
went to Google. But then when we went to Google, it was just as much ambiguous. It was honor, courage, bravery. You know what I'm saying? Like
they didn't say bravery.
Okay.
He's gonna go back to
Sure
Google.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because you gonna fault me for that.
I'm just teasing with you.
I'm chilling. I'm not upset. What I'm trying to say is, I think if we really gonna talk about something, it sounds like what we're talking about is respect masked in chivalry.
I know exactly.
It sounds like
what
we
we're
really
talking
talking about
Let me know
respect.
when it's my turn to talk.
You can go.
No,
Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying.
I'm done.
I know exactly what we're talking about. I have figured it out.
What's that?
We're talking about people treating people like they, in your definition, deserve to be treated, or how we feel like they deserve to be treated.
Okay.
So for somebody to like bring the Grey Goose over, and for somebody to come empty-handed.
Why you pointing at me?
I didn't point at you. I'm just like
I'm
this,
joking
you know.
with you. Relax.
Point, you know, it's all a matter of who are you dealing with, for one thing. It's always gonna get personal. To who do you feel like is worthy of those things? Now, for somebody like, for instance, me, if I'm cooking and if you come over, I'ma feed you rather. And is that being chivalrous, hospitality, you know, hospitable? I don't know. It's just like I was raised that men, like, and this started way back. My grandfather, he kind of messed me up with this. He brought Easter flowers when it was Easter time. He brought lilies in the house. He brought poinsettias in the house. He cut roses. He brought flowers in the house. This is just what he did. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, this is what men do. You know, and he also ran the house. So have we gotten away from that? Absolutely. But times change. You know, people change. But it still comes down to who are you dealing with and what do you want to build out of that relationship?
Right.
Because it's about cultivating your environment for what's conducive to you. I mean, we all can agree with that. Right. So if I'm expecting this thing to be, and it's a difference. Of course, it's a difference between if you're seeing somebody casually or if you're building somebody with somebody. If you're seeing them casually, then hey, cool. If they're not expecting that, then fine. But you can be seeing somebody casually, and that's still what their expectations is. So it doesn't mean anything. It's just that I hope that we have this open line of communication where we can all understand what's going on here. You know, where we can say, you know what, we just hanging out. You know, we're good when we're together, right. And when you're away, we're still good. Right. You know, or we're good together and we're building it and we're creating something, going in some
right.
sort of direction. You know, so
yeah, I think I just had a misunderstanding of what we were talking about.
Good.
I think because
no. We're talking about the dynamics of relationships, really.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's all we're talking about.
But that's not how I approached it, right? Because never mind. But when you talk about when you say if we talking about just relationships, or we talking about respect, or we talking about how you deal with somebody when you just dating them versus, but my understanding that we were talking about what's that word? Chivalry, right? so for me, chivalry is manners, like over manners. Like chivalry is like damn near that. This fork your salad fork, this fork your meat fork. You know what I'm saying? Like over manners, but it sounds like what we really just talking about is relationships. Like, so maybe I'm the one because I be on the show, I be on the radio show. So when you have a topic, you stay on the topic. So it sounds like I misunderstood the topic.
Actually, we know if we start off at chivalry, but we went so many different directions.
Yeah, y'all went to respect and relationship in general.
Because, you know, Larry said something that sparked the interest that we ended up going to another different direction.
Yeah, no problem.
We ended up going. We tried to really back into chivalry, but at the end of the day, then I asked a question that became a hot topic that I wanted to know your answers from. Because at the end of the day, I think the audience is like craving, you know, men and women. Men and women.
What time?
It's not. It was 18 minutes ago. Our perception of, especially from men. I have a lot of women who watch, and they want to hear from the men what we're looking for, because a lot of times women go to other women.
See, you should say
That wasn't even the question.
Right, you should say that out the gate. You talking to me about opening doors and shit. You know what I'm saying?
We start with that because that was a question that
Part
y'all,
two.
Right, that was a question that y'all didn't have
Part
to
three.
answer. Then I was to,
No, my bad. I didn't. Yeah,
but we got so caught up into the whole shit.
You gotta take the leash off me early. Then if we don't do that, yeah, I thought we was talking about opening doors and shit.
Well, as you can tell, it was a heated and very good conversation.
High five, dog. High five. My man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. So, thank you for tuning in for the West
It was
Architect
great.
Show.
It was
Thank you.
great.
The wellness
Is it a part 3?
It's gonna be a part 3. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna reach out to you.
Look, Lee's gonna be mad because I ain't coming tomorrow.
No, ain't no show tomorrow.
Oh, ain't no show.
We got a few things to do.
So
Oh,
you
okay.
guys, this man, good son. I'm
Got a bye week.
gonna do it again. I'm gonna reach out to you and Lairs. We're gonna do it all over again, part 3.
Listen, I think-
But next week, please tune in next week because I will have Stick from Dead Press on the show. Ooh. Yes, sir. And we're going to be talking about holistic health.
Good.
And so, how he's trying to empower black men into healthier living, mind, body, and spirit. Also, how he and other rappers are now changing the narrative of how rappers are seen, are being living a more healthy life. So it's gonna be an amazing show. So if you're in the city, feel free to come on down.
Oh yeah, it sound lit.
Stick from Dead Press, the rap group, he's gonna be in the building. So it's gonna be a very amazing show. Thank you guys. Tell everybody again how they can find you.
You can find me at www.iamenough365.com. I'm available for speaking engagements and also events, organizing your events. And also, I want to tell everybody that I'm doing a book collaboration. The name of the book is Wake Up Winning. I'm looking for 21 authors to come on board. And what we're doing is we're inspiring people to just live out of their just high expectations. We want to show people how they can go through trials and triumphs and still be on top. So that's what we're looking for. And you can get in touch with me via Facebook or at my website.
I'll be in touch. Okay. How everybody can find you, sir?
I'll be on Beer and the Conversation Tuesday. That's about it.
All right, sir. Thank you for tuning in for the West Architect Show. Be good, be great, be authentic, be you, and we are out. Peace.
Thank you, Nat, for 18 minutes.
Thank you,
Biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.